Welcome to part 4 of the DA50 RG aircraft design. We are doing a continuation on nose detailing and we are just going to dive right into it. Now let's quickly do the other feature. For reference, this is what we are trying to create. So we need to create a profile here and then we're going to sweep it along up to a certain distance here, almost to the edge of the nose. So the first thing we're going to do is create an intersection. Let's go back to shading with edges. And we need our intersection just a little bit aft of where we started with the first feature. So we can create a point, a plane. Go to tools and show all planes. We can go to side view. And then we're going to offset a plane from plane 1. Select plane, offset from plane, and select plane 1. And 75 actually looks good. You just need to go up to this point. You can always edit it afterwards. Now tools, hide all planes, and just show the one that we just created. Then we can intersect this geometry with plane 7, sorry. Preview and OK. And you can see it's just a little aft of where we begin our first feature. Now we need to limit it because we only need this point up to about this place here. Now, if you can no longer select the edges, because when you create new features, new faces come and you might not be able to select the edges you were able to select before, but we can just create some points on curve, and the curve is intersect 4 and create one point there. And another point where we want our curvature to end. Select this point. And then split, intersect 4 using these 2 points. Now this. And then the other side, because remember I said the highlighted side is the one that remains, and select OK. Now we can use this now to create the other profile. So we're going to select plane 7 and yours might be plane 6. You remember, if you create a feature and then delete in CATIA, the numbering still continues. So if I say plane 7 and you're on plane 6 or you're on plane 8, as long as the one we are referring to is the one that you select, okay? Now we can select this new plane that we just created and sketch. I'm going to try the other side. And then I'm going to use spline to create our profile, but first we need to project this element, this split 7, as our construction element. So select construction element and then go to project 3D elements and OK. And just make sure the standard element is selected and then select spline. You're going to select the first edge and you can see the highlighted solid dot. And then we're just going to try and mirror as much as possible the geometry we're trying to create. And when you're at the end, again highlighted with the solid dot, just double click. Now you can edit these control points to fit whatever element you're trying to create. Just move them. Make sure you're selecting individual control points, otherwise you're just going to move the entire element. You can also add or remove any control point if you feel the need to. All you need to do is double click on it, and you can choose add point after whichever control point, and you can also replace point or add point before. In this case, I'm just going to try and see if I can work with what I have. As I said, these geometries, they don't play a big role when we are doing our analysis for the model, because they are not affecting the airflow. They are more important in the actual model. I can work with this one. We can exit the workbench once you're satisfied with your element. And then now we need to create that guide for us to sweep this profile. We have created this profile. Now we're going to sweep it up. And as you can see, it's kind of ending at the upper corner, the upper round corner, just a small distance away from where our nose is ending. So I can create that using a spline. Go to top view. And basically what we are saying is we need a spline connecting from this point and then intersecting into this geometry. Let's create a point where we want this geometry to intersect at, and it can be on this edge. So select point from the wireframe menu and then on curve. And we're going to select a point on this curve where we want the intersection to happen. I'm going to select this point. You can always come and edit it later. And then I need another point on this sketch that we just created. So select Extremum, select the sketch on the Y component. And because the positive side is on that side, we need it on the minimum side. Okay. And then we need another control point in between. So you can select point, and then the point tab is between, and select the Extremum and this point. And then the ratio should be, it can be 0.5, but I don't want it right in the middle. I want it at this point here. So let's see 0.3. Yes, about that point. And select OK. But then this is going to give us a straight line. So once again, select top view, and we're going to move it a little bit on the Y axis. Translate this point on the Y component as direction. Try 20 millimeters. Hide or show initial element preview, and OK. Sorry. We need negative side. The translate should be on the negative side. Negative 20 preview. Okay. I'm going to move it just a little bit more. Let's try negative 30 preview. Or let me move it by hand. About that point. Let's see, about that point. That's 78. You can always come back and edit it later, as I said. Select select spline, and select these 3 points. And OK, now you can edit the points to fit the profile that you want. For example, I can move it a little bit on the inner side. And I can also move it a little bit on the downside. So you can go back to the original point and select 0.4. So we have this spline, but we want our geometry to come and intersect completely. So we need a continuation. So we can do that by adding a line. which is angle or normal to curve. Select this curve and this point, and then we're going to enter the angle as 0. Preview, and just pull the end point just up to where you want it to go to. Select OK, and then join the spline and the line. There you go, and OK. We can go back to shading with material. And on the surface menu, select sweep. The subtype should be reference surface. And the profile is the sketch. And then the guide curve is the join of the spline and line. Preview. And select OK. And then the next thing you need to do is to split the new sweep with this surface. OK. Let's hide all the points, all the curves, and all the sketches. Hide all sketches. So we have this new geometry, but we can't just leave it as it is. We need a complete profile with no openings if you're going to do fluid flow. So what we can do is to just offset this surface to inwards a little bit. We have this edge, and we have the first curve that we created. It was split. Let me see if I can find it. Split 7. Actually, we can show the sketch 4. And then we're going to create another one, similar one on the inside. So we can create another plane. Let's go to side view. Offset from this plane in the X direction. Preview. Let's try 50 millimeters. Preview and select OK. Hide the first plane. Then intersect our new split with the new plane that we just created. Preview. There we have it. Select OK. Now I don't want I want to reduce this profile just a little bit inwards, right? Create a line from this edge to this edge. Okay? But then select geometry on surface. So support is going to be our body. And OK. Then create a midpoint on this line. So point on curve, middle point. Select OK. Go to Insert, Axis Systems. Insert a new axis system on this point. I want to use it to scale down this new curve that we just created. Okay. And then we are going to Operation menu. Select Affinity. Using Affinity, we can scale down in one or more direction. The element is the new Intersect 5. And then the origin is the point that we created. The XY plane, we need to select the new XY plane. So this is our XY plane. And our x-axis, select the new x-axis. Okay. So this is the axis system tool that we are using to scale down, not the original axis system from the origin. So make sure you specify that. And then we are scaling down the Z axis. Let's try 0.5 on the Z axis and also on the Y axis 0.5. The X remains. Preview. So we have a smaller surface inside. That's a bit too small. Let's try 0.4 and 0.4. 0.6 and 0.6. 0.7, 0.7, and select OK. Then you can see that the geometry now, the new lines are kind of already intersecting our element. So what we do is we split this new curve using this geometry. So it is just up to the surface, and select OK. Hide this line and hide the new axis system. Hide the point as well. We are going to create another line from this edge to this edge, geometry on surface, and select OK. Hide even this intersect. And now we have these two profiles. You can see them. And we're going to connect the two, this one and this one. Again, I do not want a very sharp curve right here. I want it to go a little bit up and then it joins. And the same here, it comes a little bit of curvature and then joins. I can try that using spline. Like I can create a spline from this point to this point, but give a tangency direction for this point to Z axis. And then change the tension, reduce it. Let's try 0.5, preview, and select OK. Let us hide this curve so you're able to see. OK. And then let's do the same for the other one. Create a spline from this point to this point. And then the first point, we give it a tangency direction to the Z axis, the other direction, and reduce this tension to 0.5. And OK. Let's see if this is going to give us a smooth curvature. So multi-section surface, our first profile, our second profile, then our first guide, and our second guide. The first two elements, they have to face the same direction. Preview, and OK. Now you can hide sketch 4 and hide the two splines as well. And we're going to show line 10. We're going to fill this surface using the fill method. So go to fill and select line 10 and affinity 1 curve. Preview and select OK. Now we can join the new surfaces that we just created. Select join and select all three surfaces. Preview, select OK, and tools, hide all curves. Now if you look at this geometry, the new surface is intersecting our previous geometry, but we need it to be on the surface. So what we're going to do is split. From the operation menu, select split, the new join using join 5. Preview. From the inside, it should be it should not be intersecting any part now, and select OK. And then now finally you're going to split join 5 using the new split 12. Preview. It is going through now, and select OK. Now we have a continuous surface, and we can join all the new elements. Split 13 and split 12. Preview. The only opening should be at the front and at the back, so select OK. And now we can select the new feature, go to properties, and change the color to one that we can visibly see better. Follow along in the next episode as we are going to be creating the housing of the front landing gear. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications so you get notified every time we post a new video. We are now going to be posting 3 videos every week. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So see you in the next part.